Hey, what's going on? It's Matt Plapp, and I want to talk to you about one simple concept for businesses, specifically restaurants. Spend your money to build, not sell. What do I mean? Well, I mean that the majority of you are spending money on advertising to drive sales. Something like this. These magazines, coupon magazines. You're spending money on an ad here that this place will distribute it to their audience, their following, and in exchange, you get sales. The problem is when you want those sales again, guess what? You got to go back to the piper. You got to pay the piper again. You got to buy their coupon again. You got to get in front of the exact audience again and give them an offer that maybe they didn't need to come back. So let me show you a quick thing. I'm going to share my screen, do a little fancy drawing on here, but I want you to just please think about this. Every time you spend $1 on marketing, build, don't sell. So let's go ahead and share my screen, show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now, and here's what we're talking about. This is your ad budget over here on the left. This red line is what traditionally small businesses do. They buy an advertisement in a coupon magazine to drive sales. A direct mail piece, radio campaign, TV. Moral of the story is you're renting their audience, when in fact, what you should be doing is exactly the opposite. You should be getting rid of that and spending money to grow your customer list. Facebook Messenger, email marketing, text messaging. Heck, build a direct mail list. Whatever you do, you should be spending money to build your customer list. And why? Because then you go back to your list and you drive sales. Let me show you step 1 of this, then I'm going to show you step 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Step 1, 2 clients of mine, I'm going to show you what they are doing. Number 1, this is a 10-location pizza restaurant, fast casual, think kind of like Little Caesars, quick serve. They're not sitting and dining a long time. They're coming in, getting pizza, going home. This one is the opposite. This one is a casual dining 6 location. They're coming in, spending more. And you'll be able to see in a second, the average check is 3 times more, which makes sense. So this client has actually only been live in our program 4 weeks. So 4 weeks, they have spent $2,341. They've had 101,000 impressions. That is typically what you get with marketing. You spend money to get impressions. I guess I should keep this over here if I'm gonna keep using it or putting it back there. But what we also do in our ads is we gain engagement. So we used $2,341 across 10 locations, online, Facebook, Instagram, to gain 101 impressions, but more importantly, to gain 3,190 engagements. Those engagements led to 2,161 people saying, hey, here is my information. And you see, we spent that $2,341 to build this customer list right here, because now we use that customer list to send out a promotion. Similar promotion you might put here, but we're only sending it to the people whose data we have. And you can see 23% of them in a month came in and spent $6,150. So yes, you might be saying, oh, Matt, well, I spent $2,000, I got $6,000. That's not a great return. That's a 3 to 1, somewhere in that neighborhood. That's what we're not doing. We're not looking at the short-term investment. We're looking at long-term, because guess what? You now have this database to send offer 1 to, offer 2, menu announcement, new product, a simple invite. Businesses don't always have to give a discount to get a customer in. If customers know, like, and trust you, they will come back. And you can see in this example, we looked at it and said, okay, to this customer, how often will a customer come back annually? If we get a brand new customer to your brand, how often will they come back? This guy said 15, 20 times easily. How often can we get a great customer back, or a good, or an average? 10 to 15, 15 to 20, it all depends. What we did was we're gonna average. We took and said, okay, if we get down here, you can't see this, this says 12 visits. If we get 23% of this list, which is 512 people, back an additional 12 times or 12 new times, they're going to have an impact on this business of $64,000 in a year. So they spent $2,300 on the short term, got their data, and 6,000 in sales, long-term 64,000. Let's just say that Matt maybe had a little too much Red Bull and it's only 6 visits instead of 12. Okay, Mr. Customer, you spent 2,300, you got the database, you got the 6 grand. Annually, you can expect to get 32,000. Even if I'm off by another part and it's only 3 visits, which is ludicrous because people eat at this place every week. It's kind of like fast food, but pizza, it's still 16 grand. I think you all would spend 2,300 to get 16 grand, you know, a 6 to 7 1 return and have their data. But let's go ahead and put that back where it should be. So now let's go back to my equation here and talk about this. Customer list. So if you think about it from this standpoint, that when I build this list, what am I able to do? So if I'm able to look at this and say, okay, our goal, actually, wrong one. Our goal is to build our list. And why is our goal to build our list? Because let's say month 1, you know, this customer has 1 month in, 2,161 people. So 2,161, of which 512 came in one time. We've already had 76 come in a second time. Let's just use the 512 for first visit, of which 512 visited. Now, the goal is to keep building this. Now we're at month 2. Now we're up to month 2, and let's say it's slowed down a little, and we're at 2,800. And then we go month 3. Month 3 is at 3,500. We bumped up a little more than the prior month. What I'm trying to really hit you here with, okay, is now we got, let's say here we went from 512 to 600. And here we went from 600 to 725. The goal of marketing is to get people to come back more often. The goal of a guy like me is to help you, or your advertising actually, help you get somebody in one time. Your customer service, your amazing food gets them back a second, a third, a fourth time. But when you have their database, when you have these people on a database, you know their action, you know what they did, you can get them back more often. So I'll ask you, would you rather spend $2,000, which actually, ironically, an ad in here, a half-page ad for a certain part of our market, let's just find one. You know, this ad right here, if this was Northern Kentucky where I'm at, this would actually cost about $2,000 to $3,000, probably $2,000 to $2,500, it's my neighborhood. So they would spend that, they would get about 100,000 impressions, oddly enough. Would they get 3,000 people go, oh my gosh, I love this food, I want it? Who knows? Would they get 2,000 that gave you their information? No, because there's no way to get their information. It's an ad, they tear a coupon off, they come in. And the negative part is next month you deliver the same freaking coupon to them. There's a restaurant in here that has actually had the same ad running, offers running for about 8 years. The same people every month get the ad, come back, use it. It's like crack. They never can get off of it. When in fact, those customers are already coming back if you take care of them. So that's our goal, is to help you use your marketing dollars to build up a customer list so that every month you can now talk to these people, give them reasons to come back. Maybe it's a promotion the first couple times you touch them, but after that, it's more about branding. It's, hey, you have kids, you love our kids' meals, get in here. You have kids, you love our desserts, bring them in for a dessert. Hey, it's NFL season, the football games are here. Don't worry about cooking, order a pizza. Once you have a database, you can talk to them, so you don't have to spend money. For example, this client right here, this $22,341 that he spent to get this database, he doesn't have to spend it again. It's free. He owns the database. Email and Facebook messengers, when it's in, he can send it out. That's what we do for him. Here's a 8-day-old campaign. 8 days. Now, this is above normal, above average. This is not how our campaigns always go. This happens to be a really strong brand with a really strong social media following. They do a great job of their social media presence. But this is 8 days old. Today is day number 8. And I'm recording this on July 24th, 2019. So whenever you watch it. 8 days in, they've spent $1,686. Now it's skewed a little because they have their monthly retainer in there. We charge on a monthly basis to get people into this program. After they're into the program, we're not charging you. We're only charging to acquire people. That's our goal. Now, because you get the maintenance part for free. But in this case, the bulk of this is actually a retainer. There's only a couple $100 actually the Facebook and Instagram ads. But let's look at it. 1,600 spent, 17,000 impressions, 1,000 engagements, 1,327 people have opted in. The first redeem. In 8 days, they've already had 135 of these people. 10% have already digitally taken a coupon, walked in the restaurant, spent on average $32.83 after the discount net. They've got trackable sales of 4,500. They've already got a 3-to-1 ROI in 7 or 8 days. That's huge. Even cooler part is when you look at the annual impact. This right here is based off of 6 visits. If 135 of these 1,327, if we were to stop today, had a list of 1,327 and said, hey, can we consistently on a monthly basis get 10% of these people back? And in this case, we said 6 visits. So every other month, can we get 10% of these people to come back to the restaurant and spend $32.83? If you got good food and good service, it's pretty damn easy. That's $26,000 a year in sales. So the question is, how much are you costing yourself by spending money on marketing to build your sales versus by spending money on marketing to build your database? Because you can imagine the power. This is month 1, month 2, month 3. Imagine this in month 18, month 24, when you have a huge audience that knows, likes, and trusts you, and you can segment them based on they've been to the restaurant, they've spent money, they've been this many times, they have kids, they're married, they're not married, they don't have kids, they like dessert pizzas, they don't like dessert pizzas, they like buffalo wings, they don't like buffalo wings. Whatever data you get from them, because that's another key element we're not talking about. But one thing we do a lot of is this customer list, we mine it. We ask them questions. This client actually right here this morning said, hey, Matt, of these 135 people, they get a survey after they redeem their first promotion. We find out if they're married or single, have kids or no kids, and if they eat lunch, dinner, or both at the restaurant. Said how many of those people have filled the survey out? It was 77%. So 77% of this 135 people, we know a lot more about them. And as the time goes, we'll find out their birthday, anniversaries, all sorts of great stuff. So we can have a more meaningful conversation with them. But back to this, I'm going to harp on this. Take your ad budget and think about every time I spend $1, is it allowing me to grow my customer database? If it's not, don't do it. Because if it's not letting you grow your customer database, you in turn cannot grow your sales on your own. You have to keep paying the piper. You have to keep buying coupon ads, direct mail pieces, radio, TV. Now, if you've got a big enough budget that you have a budget up here that's, $500,000 and you can spend $100,000 on radio, $100,000 on TV, and then you've got ancillary stuff, you should do it. But if you're like most restaurants and you don't have $500,000, that you've got $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 a month, and you don't have the depth in your budget to go a lot of places, you need to spend all of that money on building your own customer list because you want the people who like you. You want the people who are spending money with you. The people who are already in your restaurant, you need to be doing something to capture their information. Something like this. You need to have and I've actually got a free module on this if you want to know how to do this. Something like this that your servers have around their neck that says, want a free pizza, want a dessert pizza, want a dessert for your birthday, want a free order of buffalo wings. Scan this, go into Facebook Messenger, get their information. Now you can have more meaningful conversation with the people that you know have already made the first step. Because I'll ask you, does your service suck? Does your food suck? Does the atmosphere suck? Most of the restaurants watching this will say no, 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 no. And I had a customer ask me one time, well, Matt, how do I know that these 1,000 people are going to come back next month or the month after? I said, well, if we've got their information and we can talk to them and we talk to them in a manner that relates to them, why would you think they wouldn't? And I said, let me ask you 3 questions. Does your food suck? And he said, well, no, we just got done eating. You enjoyed it, right? And I said, yeah, it's amazing. I really enjoy your food, actually, but I'm asking you that question because you obviously have a hesitation on why somebody wouldn't come back to your business. And then I said, number 2, Is the service pretty bad? Well, Matt, you've seen our reviews. We get a lot of rave reviews on our service. I'm like, I know the answer. I'm asking you what you think. He said, no, I think our service is great. And 3, the atmosphere. What do you think of the atmosphere? By the way, it's my new office. Yes, it's probably a little echoey. We have some sound barriers put in here. But what do you think of the atmosphere? What do you think of my atmosphere? I'm digging it. But what do you think of the restaurant atmosphere? Is this inviting? Do customers want to come here? Well, yeah, I like my restaurant. Okay, then I said, let me ask you this question then. If we get 1,000 people, let's just go back to this list. If we have 2,100 people that said, hey, give me what you have. And again, to put this in perspective, this, they open it, flip through it, and see it. On this, they see an ad, they respond to the ad, they respond in Messenger, and they typically answer 1 to 2 questions right off the bat. They type a keyword in their email. So they've done 4 or 5 things to get on this list. So if 2,161 people, and this is a conversation I might have with the restaurateur, and I'm actually talking to this restaurateur tomorrow, ironically enough. These are 2,161 people. They went through these 5 steps to give us their info. 512, basically a quarter of them have already come in the past 4 weeks and spent money with you. Why would they not come back? If the food's good, the service is good, and the atmosphere is good, we just need to now take this information and have better conversations with them. And that's why I'm adamant on businesses spending money to build your database. Because if you spend money to build a database, you can use your database to have conversations to drive sales instead of writing these people a check every damn month. That's all I got. I'll see you around. Hope this resonated. Adios.